Moʻolelo were left to us through various resources, one being nupepa, of course in Olelo, Hawaii. But moʻolelo were gifts from our kupuna to relive our culture, to further revitalize our Olelo, Hawaii. But also, each moʻolelo has a lesson in it. Today I wanted to share a moʻolelo, just a very small portion of a moʻolelo from the Pele and Hiʻiaka saga, and focus on the huge battle between Panaʻewa and Hiʻiaka. Let's kind of set the stage and understand that since we are jumping into just a small portion of this moʻolelo, things are happening before it and after. Before we get to the battle, Hiʻiaka is traversing the island of Hawaii. She's on the island of Hawaii in the Hilo area with her companions, Wahine o Ma'o and Pa'u o Palai. And so they are tasked with seeking out lohiau for Hiʻiaka's sister Pele. They are going to travel up to the Lua Pele in Ola'a, or what we commonly know as Volcano. That's where the stage is. And if you know this area, it is rainy and cold, and the forest is verdant. Ohi'a lehua trees, olapa, kukui, palapalai, ie. The list goes on with how beautiful and full the forest is. And so they're cruising up to Ola'a. Wahine o Ma'o is leading the pack, and this part of the mo'olelo, it leans more towards Nathaniel Emerson's version. They come to a fork in the road, right? I say road like that because it's kind of a pathway. You can clearly tell that there's one pathway that most travelers take, and then there's the other one where you can see people have tried to go that way, but things are starting to become overgrown. And Wahine o Ma'o says, let's go the way that everybody seems to be taking. Come on, friends. And Hiʻiaka says, no, I think I want to go the other way. We know it to be shorter. We know this. And they said, but there is rumors that there is a mo'o on this road. And Hiʻiaka says, that's okay. We're going to go. There's the three of us. We're going to go. And so they take this road less traveled. And this area between Hilo and Ola'a is called Panaʻewa, but this mo'o named Panaʻewa lived there and is said to still live in that area. And of course, if you're traveling in his neck of the woods, he knows you're there. Panaʻewa is this scary mo'o. When you think mo'o, they kind of build it up to be this person who's not very olu. You don't want to hang out and invite them to their hale, nor do you step into their world. And these three girls, we don't know their exact age, but we do know they're young girls, and that plays a huge role into this. So he sends scouts because he knows it's also Hiʻiaka. It's not just anybody traversing in his forest, but it's Hiʻiaka. And so he sends out scouts to go and see who is it, what are they doing. And so they fly off as birds, but when they find the girls, they take form as trees. And Emerson says they take form as kukui trees. They do see the girls fly back and they go, oh, but not too sure. And Panaʻewa's like, you liars. I'm going to send even more. So he sends a ton more. A forest starts to all of a sudden appear around Hiʻiaka them. And so much has happened before the Battle of Panaʻewa. And so they become tired and weary and they take a nap at this point. And so the scouts report back to Panaʻewa and say, well, the girls are taking a nap. And so in Emerson's version, he says that they are sleeping and Panaʻewa wants to sneak up on them. While in Emerson, there's this napping period. The very first version that we see of this mo'olelo is written in the Nupepa, Hawaii. And so it's always good to look back at the originals and kind of piece together the two stories. How do they play a role with each other? So it's actually found in Kahoku o Kapaki Pika. And it's at this point where the scouts come and Hiʻiaka is starting to sense that there is more around her and understands that she may need some supports. The original states that before Panaʻewa and Hiʻiaka really meet each other, Hiʻiaka can also see her sister off in the distance. Now, Panaʻewa is in one area and Ola'a's far off in the distance, but it's still mauka, right? So you're still able to look up and she can see her sister in the lua with the ahi. And so she knows her sister is there. Both parties are preparing for something that they are unaware of yet, but they know they have to prepare mentally, physically, spiritually. Panaʻewa is preparing by gathering his scouts. Hiʻiaka is preparing by calling out to her older sister Pele. And so she calls out to her sister that these things are happening. So it's almost like a forewarning, like, I am here in the forest of Panaʻewa. And Pele is aware that Hiʻiaka is there. Those things are set up, and finally Panaʻewa reveals himself, and Hiʻiaka and Panaʻewa totally get into it. I think it's just beautiful when you read the original from Kahoku Kapaki Pika, because when everybody fights, nobody just walk up to each other and then things happen, right? There are some words that need to be said. Why is there anger? Why is there, the whys? And so that is actually still being seen in a mo'olelo like this. Panaʻewa chants to her, saying all these horrible things, how he's gonna eat her and tear her apart. This is what he wants to do to this small, young, timid girl. And she responds in just few lines within this long, beautiful mele that says, okay, brother, I hear you. And so after those words are exchanged, they battle. And these two just have it out. In the Nupepa, it's just the two of them. And in Emerson's version, they have a hui with them at first, where the scouts of Panaʻewa and Panaʻewa's kind of sitting back like, yeah, guys, you get them. And Hiʻiaka's there with her girls just trying to battle it all. But in any case, the fighting goes on, and suddenly Panaʻewa and Hiʻiaka need to ho'omaha. They need to take a rest because it's a lot. It's almost like, round 1, round 2, round 3, like that, right? So they finish round 1 and they rest. And Pele sees that her sister needs kokua. Yeah, in both versions it says this very same thing, that Pele understands that her sister needs help, and what am I going to do? And so Pele calls out to their ohana and says, you guys need to come and help this baby girl. Someone needs to be on her side. Panaʻewa has his crew, they're on his aina. Who's gonna help this girl out? And so the call is made, and Wahine Oma'o is the one that starts to chant Hiʻiaka up. They know that the second round is coming, and this girl needs time to wake up and prepare herself. So Wahine Oma'o starts to chant, and Hiʻiaka awakens, and the reinforcements that Pele calls for Hiʻiaka also arrive. In all of that, feeling more powerful, feeling more supported, she fights him, and in the gentle version of Emerson, he hides into a cave. In the very first version of Kanupepa, he is killed, obliterated, torn apart, never to see again. So these girls get to walk away victorious, and they continue their journey on to the Lua Pele up in Ola'a, where they get further details from Big Sis Pele on their journey to Kipa'aku, or go find Lohiau. In sharing this mo'olelo, I find so much connection between who we are as Kanaka and this story. These mo'olelo are here for us to dive into and learn from, to learn about our kupuna. But what if we looked at these mele and were able to take it apart, piece it out, and try to make it applicable to who we are today? As Kumu here at school, what do we see in this mo'olelo that can help our keiki become OEV leaders and understand their place? So this battle between Hiʻiaka and Panaʻewa, can we perhaps see Hiʻiaka in our classrooms? Is there a Hiʻiaka in our classrooms? Yeah, probably. Whether it's a Kani Opio or a Wahine Opio. We have Hiʻiakas in our classroom. Hiʻiakas that are going the extra mile for their ohana, going the extra mile for their class, going the extra mile for themselves. That Panaʻewa could be anything. When I see our students, I see Panaʻewa in the day-to-day battles with their classmates, with what they see at home, or the support or lack thereof in those areas. Yeah, Panaʻewa in this mo'olelo takes various forms. He can morph into anything he wants to. The same can be said in our classrooms. That battle with Panaʻewa could be anything. And so how are we going to support our keiki, that Hiʻiaka, with their battle with Panaʻewa? By sharing a moʻolelo like this, we can see that, did Hiʻiaka stand alone at the battle with Panaʻewa? At times she did. But then at times she also knew that she had friends to lean on, wahine o ma'o, pa'u o palai. She had an older sister she could call on. And maybe that's not the case for all of our keiki, but who can they call on? Are you that pele that they can call on so that way they can attack their Panaʻewa? And so in the end, Hiʻiaka becomes victorious, not because she's making everybody else fight her battles, but because she had more confidence in herself, because she could stand there knowing her ohana was there. Maybe not all blood ohana. Yeah, when we say ohana, it's anyone that's gonna stand in your corner. By sharing this mo'olelo, whether it's just with staff as kumu or sharing it within the classrooms, that we can empower our students to be oiwi leaders, just like Hiʻiaka. And you can be that pele and call for help, or you can be that one wahine o ma'o, pa'u o palai, or just anybody in their corner guiding them so that in the end they're victorious over their battle of Panaʻewa, whoever he, she, or it may be.